why is an everyday discipline so important? And really, it's what makes the difference. It's what separates everything. It's the difference between success and failure. See, when you have a strong enough reason why to do something every single day, and that's what we're going to talk about today, about why the discipline is so important every day, then you can accomplish anything.
Cowboy.
Welcome to a daily dose of greatness class with your host, Trevor Crane, my daddy. He is going to help you take your life and business to the next level.
Here I come to save the day.
Trevor Crane here, 11-time #1 best-selling author and the founder of Epic Author Publishing, coming to you live every day so you can plug in every day to build your ideal business so you can live your ideal life.
If my daddy can do it, then anybody can do it because he's a weirdo.
You're supposed to make me sound cool. Okay, so I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, an everyday discipline, Trevor? Like, why do I need an everyday discipline? Can't I just do my exercise routine 3 days a week? Can't I just commit to doing something once a week, or maybe just during weekdays and then I can have weekends off? And so my answer to you is no. Discipline, and the way that I defined it ultimately, meant that you do something every single day. Now, you can, I guess it depends on what it is you're going to be disciplined about, so you can choose. But the power of an everyday discipline is like a cascade effect. It's like dominoes. I don't know if you ever played with dominoes and you see them fall down, right? Once you tip that over and you prove to yourself that you have the ability to do an everyday discipline, everything in your life can shift. Everything in your life can get better. So you want to pick something that will be good for you, good for others, and good for the greater good. And that's what I did when I first started exercising. And that's what I did when I first decided that I would commit to having a daily discipline of anything. Because, and I'll give you reason number one. So on today's show, I'm going to talk to you about 3 reasons why it's so important for you to have an everyday discipline, to pick something so that you can have it. Now, number 1 is, if you don't pick an everyday discipline, your life will suck. That's reason number 1. Now, why do I know that? I know that because I used to suck, or at least I used to have really sucky patterns. Then I would say that filing a $2.2 million bankruptcy and losing my lover, my daughter, my houses, and basically when you lose your house, you know what that means? You're homeless. So I was homeless. So here was my pattern. I didn't have discipline. I didn't even like the word discipline. I used to say, and this used to be like an internal mantra, that I'm consistently inconsistent. It was like I was bragging about it, because I could be consistent for a period of time, but then I would break my word and then I would stop. Like I would do a diet or an exercise routine for a month or for 2 months or for 3 months, and then I would bail on it. And I would have these successes in different areas of my life, and then after I had done something consistently, I would go ahead and quit the ritual that got me the success, and then because I didn't want somebody to tell me what to do, not even myself. So here's the thing. When I started building my life back and I had new mentors who started challenging the existing beliefs I had about what was possible and what was truth and what I could do and what I couldn't do, one of the questions that came up was this question around discipline. So I was so freaked out about it, it took me 3 days to define what discipline actually meant to me, and then to come up with a commitment of what it would be to demonstrate discipline in my life in such a way that it improved my life, the quality of the people that I cared about most, my family, my friends, my clients, the people that I want to connect with and contribute to, and that meant the greater good. Like, what would be the drawing a line in the sand and saying that I'm going to shift things. And so what I chose was to exercise. And I know that seems petty and selfish, and maybe that's not. But here's the thing. At the time, it felt like, why would I choose exercise? Because I knew that it was something that could impact my life and then everybody that I cared about most. Like, if I had more energy, if I had more life, if I had more vitality, then I could be there for my family. And I didn't want to be fat and out of shape and what was that representing to my daughter, my wife, and my clients? if I was this fat bastard who was living, who couldn't be my word. And so that's what I shifted. So I picked a 90-day discipline of just exercising for every day. And here's what happened. It was a challenging 90 days because my pattern was to not want to do anything anybody told me to do, not even myself. And I didn't want the word discipline. So I had to challenge myself. But at the end of 90 days, I felt so freaking good about it, about who I now was. I had so much confidence about a new identity of what I could do that I ended up deciding to keep exercising every day. So now I've exercised every single day in a row for over 2,600 days. I don't know the exact day. I'd have to look at my calendar real quick to find out exactly how many it's been. But the ripple effect and the cascade effect that that's now had on my life has been phenomenal. Like, I've never had a better quality of life than I do today. There have been times in my life when I've made more money. There have been times in my life when I might have, had one or another part of my life be at stronger than it is today. But I don't even know if that's true anymore. I think today, in 2018, January 2018, that my life is better in all areas of my life: my health, my energy, my vitality, my relationship with my family, my wife, my daughter, my clients, my business, my connection with my spirituality is probably as good today as it's ever been, and probably the strongest it's ever been in my entire life. All because of this cascade or ripple effect, this like dominoes tripping down. Like, an everyday discipline can make the difference between a life that sucks and a life that's awesome. So that's reason number one. If you don't commit, find something to commit to for an everyday discipline, your life can suck, or it could suck, like mine used to suck. So number two, and this is a really powerful one. This is the second reason why it's so important for you to have an everyday discipline. And you probably have heard of something like be, do, have. Like, I gotta be who I gotta be so I can do what I gotta do so I can have what I wanna have. And it's true to the effect that if you don't have certain rituals and certain patterns, you're not gonna have the results that you want. But what this is all about, be, do, have, is about becoming more. See, what I said, that after 90 days of me exercising every day, my identity had shifted about who I was and who I am and what I'm capable of. Now, I think I've heard it first from Tony Robbins, where he said the most powerful force in the human personality is our identity. It's the way that we define ourselves. It's statements like, I am. An I am statement of who I am, because we will do everything we can, our conscious and unconscious mind, to remain consistent with the way we identify ourselves. So when we identify ourselves in self-talk that, like, I am a loser and I am inconsistent and I can't and I don't know how, and all of these self-doubts and fears and things that come up with our that sabotage our success, what happens when you commit to an everyday discipline is you can shift your identity about who you are. And now, this being the strongest force in the human personality, because our need to stay consistent with the way we identify ourselves is the most powerful force that pulls us and drives us. Those are the two forces. Things we want, that we seek out, that pull us towards them like a magnet, like we're pulled towards the sun. I want this so much. And then also that heat and fire and passion and drive and pain, oftentimes, that fires us forward. So these things shift when you commit to a discipline that shifts your identity. And here's reason number three. Is so important to your ultimate success and your ultimate reason why you're here on this planet is you have a responsibility. You have a duty. Like, I honestly believe that everyone has a gift, that you have greatness in you, that in your job, your responsibility is to share your gift, your gifts with the world. Your job every day is to go out and find that gift, that gift that you have, your greatness inside, and give that and contribute that to others. It is your responsibility. In fact, if you don't do this, then you are doing the world and yourself a disservice. You're harming other people. See, that's what I had to actually realize, because I used to only want to focus on the things that I wanted, and everything was great, and the grass is always greener, and everything is positive, and happy, 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 because I didn't want to focus on the pain and the bullshit. But the truth is you got to look in the mirror and not see it better than it is, and not see it worse than it is, but see what it really is, and then try to create these two forces inside of you. What I needed was not just to think that this was good for me. What I had to realize, and why this was so powerful for me, is that I had to actually acknowledge that me not sharing my gifts, of me not sharing my greatness with the people that mattered to me most, with the world, is that I was actually causing other people's pain. It happened to me at one stage. I was working in my business, and I was trying to make sales about something I believed in, and at the time I was a coach and consultant, and I had just transformed my business, and I was missing sales. I had people that wanted to hire me. I would meet with them, and they would give me hugs after my interview, saying, oh my God, or after our interview, they'd say, Trevor, thank you so much, you coached me so well, this was so great. But 20 sales in a row, I didn't make a sale. Now, I don't know if you know what it feels like to be rejected 20 times in a row. I certainly know when I was a young man trying to get busy with the ladies. But like, this was, I felt personally judged, personally attacked. I was feeling bad about myself, but worse, I was feeling, what really kicked it over for me was the 20th woman who told me no, she didn't want to work with me. The real shift was me recognizing that she was the person that was getting hurt. See, she left the meeting thinking that everything was cool. She left the meeting feeling better than she had started the meeting, but she did not buy from me. She did not hire me, which I knew meant that she was going to keep having the problems and challenges she was having. I felt like instead of doing her a service of having this great conversation with her, that I had done her a disservice and actually caused her pain. I went back into my car after that meeting, and I cried. I sat in my car and I cried, not because of woe is me, but because I recognized that I was hurting other people. And when I looked at my life and I saw where I was not showing up, I had to tell the truth about the people that I had let down because I wasn't showing up at my best. You know, one of my friends actually had committed suicide. And it was at a time that I had been going through. I was working with Tony Robbins at the time. I was volunteering and going to his events, and one time I was like 12 events in a given year with Tony Robbins, and I would volunteer and work as a leader and a trainer in his community. And one of the core things I learned to do was to help people go through break phobias and fears and overcome adversities and overcome little things like suicide. I was actually with Tony on like the 5th to 8th, 10th, 12th day that he was working with a room full of people talking about suicide, on the day that I learned that a buddy of mine committed suicide. And it wasn't my fault that he committed suicide. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I recognized that at the time I wasn't demonstrating my greatness and giving it to the world. I was going to events. I was volunteering at Tony Robbins events, but I hadn't shown up in my buddy's life in any way that went ahead and let him know that I was available as a resource that could have helped him at a time when he was feeling at his lowest. And instead, he left this world with a gun in his mouth in his parents' backyard. So I believe that there are some significant reasons for you to have your own level of discipline in your life, and that it makes a difference between success and failure. And it is the difference between you sucking and having a life that is awesome. And it makes the difference between you be doing and having all the stuff that you want, and that you need to become more, and that shifts your identity about who you are and why you can succeed. And it sets you up like dominoes to have everything else in your life get better. And you have a duty and responsibility to the people that you care about most to make a difference in their lives. So step up, have an everyday discipline, and I hope that today's daily dose of greatness quest has been awesome for you. And please like this podcast. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share this with somebody that you know if this has been valuable to you. And pick something, a daily discipline that you can commit to that is good for you, has a benefit for others, the people that you care about most, and is good for the greater good. Pick something like that. I have many disciplines that I have in my life right now that I didn't have before, and one of them is this daily podcast. So can't wait to see you on tomorrow's episode. Later. Be great. To get even more awesomeness, which means all my best stuff, download my app by texting Trevor to 36260. It will show up right on your cell phone. Just text message the word Trevor to 36260. Talk to you soon.